I am 100% certain, having followed this saga for these years, that we will get to a low-carbon, no-carbon economy in this planet. We will. What I'm not certain of, and what I don't think anybody can be certain of, is that we are going to get there in time to do what the scientists told us in the 2018 report that we need to do, which is make the decisions now and implement them. This was 5 years ago. They said you have 12 years left within which to put in place the decisions that will avoid the worst consequences of the climate crisis. They didn't say avoid the crisis altogether. They said avoid the worst consequences. The issue is for all of us, from whatever country you come from now, you see what's happening. In the Arctic last summer, it was 70 degrees Fahrenheit above normal. In the Antarctic, it was 100 degrees Fahrenheit above normal. In Europe, the Rhine River was not navigable, so they had to stop for a while. The water in France and the rivers was so warm, they couldn't use it to cool the nuclear plant. And we've seen distress in so many different ways, in floods and famines and droughts and mudslides and fires and you name it. And just yesterday we learned that this year, hottest year in history. But nobody's that shocked because last year was the hottest year in history. The year before that was the hottest, and the hottest decade. And the year before that was the second hottest decade. And the years before, 10 years before that was the third hottest decade in history. And that is accurate, decade for decade. So when are we human beings going to acknowledge that we have been given this gift of being rational, allegedly, and we have the ability to not do things that are the definition of insanity, which is if you're digging a hole and you get too deep and you're not going where you want to go, first thing you got to do is stop digging. And the equivalency of stopping digging on this subject of climate is to stop emitting these poisonous gases that are destroying the planet and the lives of future generations and our own ability to live. We're not asking anybody to give up the quality of life. We're asking you to actually embrace a better quality of life. If you're not dying because the quality of air sucks, then you got a better quality of life. You're not being sent off as a young person to fight a war to protect the sources of your energy, where energy is now being weaponized. You got a better life. In fact, you even have a chance to stay alive. Every single one of you here should be a first mover. Every single one of you should move your company. If you have a company or you know a company, you're on the board, but every single one of you can push your community to be a first mover, whether it's a school or a building that needs to be refitted. Energy efficiency, the largest, single, cheapest, greatest, biggest gain we can get, energy efficiency, low-hanging fruit. Countless people could be moving in that direction.